Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. My name is Amir. For today's episode, we have Adele back on the show once again. You can find him at Digital Adele. He did a rebrand recently. I remember we talked about a few weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, the last time you were on the pod. And so Adele has done a rebrand. He's no longer Hoops Profile. You can find him at Digital Adele across all
Hoops.
social media channel. Oh yeah, I forgot about the hoops part. Well, it's a little confusing because you didn't add it. It says Digital Adele here, which is fair because that's also your moniker. But I guess the name of the channel is Digital Adele Hoops. Welcome back to the show, man. How are you doing today?
Awesome, man. How about yourself?
Doing well. Just got back from a trip. I was in San Diego this weekend for a friend's birthday. I was on the East Coast the week before that for 2 weeks, as I mentioned on the channel. So just a lot of traveling. Tired, excited to be home right now so I could sleep in my bed again. But yeah, everything's been good on my end. And again, it's the dog days of summer. Thank God the NFL starts basically next week. Like we have 10 days till the NFL starts, which is great. The NBA season does not start for a while. We have close to 2 months until real NBA action, but training camp opens, I believe, closer towards the end of September. We're going to see some preseason games early October. And so we'll definitely have more stuff to talk about when that time comes. But for this episode, Adele, I just wanted to talk about expectations with the Miami Heat. So we could talk about like realistically where we think they'll end up next season. But for this episode, I want to talk about how can the Miami Heat somehow sneak into the top four of the East, which is very audacious and very bold to do an episode on this because the Miami Heat have been a playing team for 3 seasons in a row, essentially, right? Like the real question should be how do they get the 6th seed, right? So they avoid the play-in.
Right.
But the East has weakened due to injuries, and we've added some players on this roster that could help us potentially. Last year, we had the Jimmy Butler distraction and trade. Terry Rozier forgot how to play basketball, and just when he was on the court, and for some reason he did play a lot, minus the last month or so of basketball where he finally was out of the rotation. But like just
Yeah.
the Terry minutes were horrible. And I think even last year with all that distraction, we were still a better team than being 8 games below 500. I think they should have been closer to a 500 team. And we know they blew a million fourth quarter, double-digit leads. So I don't think all of that's going to happen necessarily. But my question to you, let's get this started. So what has to break right for the Miami Heat to sneak? I'm going to use the word sneak into the top 4 in the East next year to get home court advantage in the playoffs. What are your thoughts on that?
It sounds ridiculous, even like just you saying it. It sounds ridiculous, but
I
literally
know.
everything has to go right in order for them to get a top 4 seed in the East. And even then, I don't think it'll be enough. But the biggest factor that I think we should talk about is the conference itself. The injuries to key teams and to key players. I think that's the biggest factor. How those teams adapt and adjust to those star players being out. I think those are going to be, the biggest factors more than anything on the Miami Heat. Because to me, it's essentially the same team. They already played a half a year without Jimmy. Andrew Wiggins, came over in the trade. Get another year of Kel'el Ware. Nico, hopefully improvement coming out of Eurobasket. Norm Powell was the big free agent get. They got him for nothing. Is he going to make that big of a difference to push him into the top 4? No, I don't believe so. But we'll get into all that. But to me, the conference is the biggest thing if you want to start there.
Yeah, perfect. So looking at the current East landscape, it did change overnight in the playoffs after 3 pretty big injuries. 2 of them are bigger than one, I guess, but it's all within the same category of injury, the Achilles, so that was Jason Tatum and Halliburton are the 2 bigger ones, obviously, because those are 2 guys that are young and absolutely in their primes.
Right.
And Damian Lillard, older, more of the senior citizen of the group, but still very good player, basically an all-star still at this accelerated age and
Now
still
he's
very
gone to
important.
Portland.
And how he's on Portland, my gosh, I forgot about that until you said that. But still, in general, like that's still huge. That impacts the Bucks, right? Because if he didn't tear
Yes.
his Achilles, he'd still be on the Bucks. Like there's no doubt about it. They wouldn't have traded him at least this offseason, right? Maybe after next season, depends on the whole Giannis scenario. But the landscape has changed. Which teams are a lock for the top four? And so we're gonna have to say four without Miami because there's no expectation realistically that we think Miami, as of today, are going to be a top four seed. So who are those four that you think are locked in, and which team realistically do you think the Miami Heat could leapfrog of those four? So let's see if we agree on that same four. I'm sure we'll
This
agree
is
with it.
really difficult. I mean, Cleveland, let's just go. I'm going to go in reverse order of how the standing or the order the standings ended last year. So Cleveland, they were the top of our class in the Eastern Conference. So the Cleveland Cavaliers will be number one again. So you
Yes,
agree
I
with
agree.
that, right? All right, cool.
Yes, 100%.
The Boston Celtics are going to take a big step back without Jason Tatum. I don't think Jaylen Brown and Peyton Pritchard are going to be able to carry the load to get them a top 4 seed in the East by themselves. So I think they're severely dampened. The New York Knicks probably ascend to that second spot, assuming Jalen Brunson's ankle is fully recovered by the time the season gets here and he doesn't have any lingering effects because he was hobbled the entire playoffs. And they still, were a formidable team. The Indiana Pacers are going to take a big step back. They're going to take a really big step back. Tyrese Halliburton was the engine that made that whole thing go, and him coming off that Achilles. So I don't see them being a top 4. Can Giannis bring the Bucks into the top 4? Can they ascend to the top 4? That's going to be very difficult. The Detroit Pistons I have as a sleeper team to sneak into that top 4. They were the 6th seed last season, where Miami aspires to be, really, to be above them. Cade Cunningham's coming into his own. They're really rounding out that roster. So I think Detroit's a dark horse to be in the top 4. And then lastly, the Orlando Magic. I think they get the last spot. I think the Magic actually being healthy, they can get that other 4th spot in the East.
So your top 4. So Indy, New York, I agree 1, 2.
Not
You're
Indy.
saying not Indy, excuse me.
Cleveland.
Cleveland. Yeah, one of those boring Midwest teams, So Cleveland, obviously,
Yes.
New York are the top 2.
Yes.
That I think are the 2 best in the conference. And then you're thinking 3 is going to be the Pistons and Magic, or one of those 2 are going to sneak in there. So you're saying Boston?
No, I think they both. I think they both sneak in there. I think they go 3 and 4.
Okay.
Orlando and Detroit.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I hate the Boston Celtics, and I agree it's going to be difficult for them to be a top 4 team with Jason Tatum out, but they still have the Finals MVP on that team right now. And you didn't mention another name that is better than Payne Pritchard, which is Derek White, who is obviously going to step up, and he's a great player. Come on, he's a great player. Yes, they did lose.
He's a good
Porzingis,
player.
They did lose.
He's a good player. He's not a great player. A great player is Jason Tatum. A great player is Jaylen Brown. A great player, it was Porzingis when healthy.
Yes, I agree.
White is neither one of those guys' level. He's good. He's very good. He's not a great player.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. But still, I still see them somehow sneaking into that 4th spot, possibly. I know they lost a lot, but I do agree with between the 2 of the Detroit and Magic. I think I'd lean on the Magic perhaps over Detroit still, just because of their defense. They've been top 10 defensive rated team for a long time. They added Desmond Bane, who's also a plus defender, someone who's capable of also scoring 20 points per game. I don't know if he'll do that there as the 3rd option, I guess. I would assume he's the 3rd option behind, Franz. Obviously, we know who the number 1 option is there. So they're going to be solid, man. Adding him, I think, is big for this team. And Jalen Suggs being healthy, who missed the playoffs with that injury, him and Bane as they might be one of the best duos in terms of defense, for a backcourt, right? Would you agree with that?
They're going to be very strong. They're going to be very, very strong. Yeah. I mean, I like what the Orlando Magic are building. That's why I have them in the top 4. Again, Detroit, I just think that young team, all right. I think the Boston Celtics rely so much on the 3-point shooting and the
100%.
one-on-one ability to create their own shot of Tatum and Brown, when you lose one of those guys, that formula's got to change. You can't just go one-on-one all the time anymore. They don't have two guys you can just pitch it to.
Yeah, and I mean, as good as Jaylen Brown is, he's not the best when it comes to ball handling, right? Like he seems to only be
No.
able to go one way, so like he can get downhill and finish at the rim, and he is a 3-level scorer, but he
Right.
can't manipulate his way. Like I'm not going to say Kyrie Irving, obviously, but like someone who has better hand, someone in between Kyrie and Jaylen. I don't know, insert a person in there who can effectively get to the rim better than Jaylen. Like he's obviously no slouch, but
Is
that's not
Jaylen
his game.
Brown better than Cade Cunningham?
No. I say no, but does it? But I mean,
This
yeah,
is
I
my
mean,
point
maybe,
about Detroit,
yeah, totally over Boston for sure. I
right?
don't know. I just feel like they still have enough. I know they added Anthony Simon, so they'll give them some scoring
Yeah.
relief, I guess. I mean, like, but they did lose a
Four-man
lot in
Statham.
Drew Holiday. Yeah, pretty much. But they lost a lot with Drew and
Right?
Porzingis, and then obviously more importantly Tatum. Like those are three big pieces. So
And
you
can
never know. I mean,
Horford is he going to be able to do it another year? Is he still playing?
I don't know if he's going to stay with them. Right? I thought he was supposed to go to the
That's what I
Warriors
mean. Like
eventually, but
they're going to have to replace some people that gave them big minutes and played crucial roles throughout their career. Like I don't know, man. I don't see it happening. But I guess we want to pivot at this point right to the what the Heat have to do. Is that right?
yeah. All right. So it starts with player development. So if the Heat are going to sneak in to the top four, which players have to essentially carry us that way? So Tyler Hero is the team's offensive engine. He's our number one offensive player at this point. I'm not going to say it's his team necessarily, but can he improve even further? And I think it's going to have to be with playmaking, obviously cutting the turnovers, making the right reads. I think that's the biggest thing because, like, if you are that focal point, superstars have been blitzed and double teamed so much, and the players like LeBron James, the players like Kevin Durant or whoever, Anthony Edwards showed, a lot last year, getting triple teamed at times, like
Right.
having that vision and making the right reads for his teammates. So can he improve in that area? Can Bam improve offensively? We know that's always been his Achilles heel. Can we get him up to like 23 points per game, which would be a huge increase for him?
Right.
Who is that X factor essentially, like offensively, like that can help us? Because like everything has to
Yeah.
go right offensively, right? Like everything that I'm saying, like, and you can add in more, obviously. But like what factors offensively have to happen for this team to like elevate to win more games? We need to be a better offensive rated team. We need to score more points than 109 per game. Like,
We're talking a lot about offense, but the defensive side of the ball is what worries me the most. And that's
interesting.
because who's your start? I want to start it this way. Who's your starting lineup? The way the Heat sit right now, who would you start?
I mean, you start the best five technically, and like,
Which is
I mean,
Norm Powell,
Tyler, Norm,
Tyler, Norm. Yeah.
and it's all, if you want to do it based on position, then I guess you have to put in Kalel. He's like our only center technically, if you consider
Okay.
Bam
So
a power
where?
forward. So Bam, Tyler, Kalel, Andrew, and Norm, I guess, like would be the
Okay. So all
assumed
right. So
starting
let me
five.
do it. Let me do it like this. The backcourt is Norm and Tyler. The wing is Wiggins. Bam and where are your bigs? So that's your starting five. Where's the point of attack defense coming from that starting five?
Gotta be Andrew Wiggins, baby. Norm Powell's gonna have to guard up.
His point of attack defense has fallen off significantly as he's gotten older. Norm Powell is an average point of attack defender. He's not a great defender. Tyler is probably one of the worst defenders in the entire league.
Yeah, so it has
That's
to be Andrew
my
Wiggins,
concern.
point.
Right. So
of
like,
course.
But that's the Heat's identity, though. The Heat's identity is playing tough defense, making people feel you, and then being efficient offensively. So are you saying they're going to have to pivot into this offensive juggernaut? Because with that starting lineup, their defense isn't going to be very good.
Hey, as long as their offense scores more points than the other team's offense, then hey.
All right. So
that can help us win a few games.
I also want to pose this to you. Who's going to facilitate for this team with that starting lineup?
Bam Adebayo is going to be our point
That's it.
forward.
15
Let's go,
assists per
baby.
game. Bam Adebayo. There it is.
Inverted pick and roll with
Oh,
Tyler
my
Hero
goodness.
all day long. Pick and pop with Tyler all day. Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? That's gonna
So
be awesome.
Tyler and Bam are the best facilitators of that group. Tyler had like 4.5 assists per game last season. It's not great as your primary ball handler at like 28% usage.
He's not
Norm
a point guard,
Powell.
though. So I mean, he's a shooting guard.
This is my whole point. Norm Powell doesn't facilitate either. He's averaged like 1.6 assists for his whole career. Wiggins isn't a facilitator either.
Do you want to be more bleak? Davion is not a true facilitator coming off the bench.
But
anyway.
he's one of the better facilitators on the team right now. Davion Mitchell,
because we have no. Bam is the best passer on the team. I would say probably if we think about it. Like, right. I'm not saying the best playmaker or
right,
but he's. I mean, he's just one of our better facilitators, especially with the DHO. Obviously, he still has very good passing abilities as a big man in the NBA. But we don't like Drew Smith. I'm sorry, he's not like a floor general. Davion's not a floor general. Tyler and Powell are shooting guards, right? Like we don't really have anybody that can.
You're starting to see where I'm coming from then. So what has to go right is whatever philosophy that Spo dictates, they're going to have to gel and be the most cohesive passing unit you've ever seen in your life. The ball movement has to be perfect. The screen's got to be set perfectly. The execution's going to have to be perfect. The only way they get a top 4 is if somehow Tyler, Wiggins, and Norm end up being simpatico and the sum of the parts are better than the individuals. That's the only way that they're going to get to be a top 4 team, strictly, especially on offense. Those guys are going to have to gel. But me personally, I think Davion's going to play more minutes than people realize. Something's got to give. You got to have point of attack defense. You got to have facilitation somewhere. I think Davion's going to have such a big role on this team. I think we're going to be in for another year of the madman scientist Spo shuffling lineups to try to find one that works.
Every night.
It's going to be every night for the majority of the season. It's just one of those things. It's going to be very difficult because the roster construction itself is so clunky. Yeah, Norm can shoot the ball. Norm can drive and attack the close. Tyler can also, but they just don't handle the ball well enough. And that's the thing about Wiggins. Wiggins can score in the mid post. He's athletic once he gets going to the rim, but he can't handle the ball on the perimeter. His dribbling leaves a lot to be desired, and the Heat found that out the hard way last season. So I know you're trying to go all positive rainbows and sunshine, how they get into the top 4. It's just going to be very tough hill to climb.
I'll tell you how they do it. Okay.
Let's hear it.
1, Tyler Christopher Hero has to increase his efficiency. He's not going to get way more shots because we have Norman Powell on this roster now, right? So I don't know how much his usage will go up, but like he just needs to be a little more efficient. He needs to get easier baskets. He needs to get to the free throw line. If he's going to be a 3-level scorer, if he's going to try to get to the rim, like he needs to play through contact and try to draw more fouls at the rim. And he needs to increase his scoring from 23.9, round up to 24, to like 26, 27 points per game. Like we need him to do that. Is he capable of doing that? I think so, but it might be difficult. We need Andrew Wiggins to play as if it's his final contract opportunity. He's 30 years old. So like ideally, like this is going to be his last big notable contract. He's looking for like a 3 to 5 year, deal, 30 years old. And it essentially is a contract year because he has a player option. So if he plays amazing, he could opt out and become an unrestricted free agent. So he is incentivized if he wants his last, big bag as a guy who's in his prime. So I think he has an incentive to play a lot better for his personal gain. And then, of course, throwing in Norman Powell, like that just gives us way more firepower than we had last year. Someone who could shoot 42% from 3, very efficient type of player. Then we need Nico to be an X factor, and we need him to obviously lead that second unit, average 15, 5, and 5, improve defensively, keep hitting that 3 at that high clip, close to 40%. Then we need Davion to become prime Drew Holiday. right? We need him to be a pit bull defender, obviously a better playmaker. We need him to
Yeah.
continue to shoot 45% from three, maybe even 50%. I think that'll be kind of cool. We need Jaime Jaquez. We need Stella to get his groove back. He needs to become the.
You forgot where?
I'm not done yet. Yeah, no, we're not worried about where he's fine. He could be 10-10. We need Jaime to be the Hispanic Jimmy Butler off the bench.
There you go.
We need Pella Larson to become Dan Marley, Thunder Dan, just that bruising physical defender. He hits the three, gets to the free throw line. Yeah, so I'm starting to be facetious now. I'm starting to be facetious now, obviously. I don't have any answer. My real answer is we need Giannis, Brunson, Mitchell, whoever else, Cade, Paolo to all get hurt. And then the Miami Heat will be a top 4 seed, maybe a top 2 seed if that happens.
There
maybe
it is.
Number 1.
There it is. You're just slowly wiping out the competition every week. The biggest thing you didn't mention and what they need, Tyler played 77 games last season, which is the most in his entire career. They're going to need that again. He can't play 40 games like the year before or, 60 games or 55 games. He's going to have to play close to 80 games again for them to be able to have a shot at that thing. So health is going to go a long way. I think Ware playing with a consistent 1-2 motor and his IQ being a little bit better, if that can happen, I think that really helps the offense and the defense because he could do some special things with that, length and athleticism that he has. But as you mentioned, when you started getting facetious and wiping people out due to injury, it's an uphill battle.
It is, but I still don't. I think that their ceiling is probably the 4th seed again because that the Celtics are going to be. They're not going to be a player like they were the Bucks. I think it's a little more open, and we don't know what other injuries are going to happen throughout the landscape.
All right, let's do it.
We don't know what other players are going to pop. Hey, but players develop. Players pop.
They
like
do.
the Andrew Wiggins thing. The Andrew Wiggins thing could be real. Like Norm playing with Tyler for some reason could be like the best duo.
Wiggins is what he is at this point. Wiggins is who he is at this point.
You get hot sometimes. Jeremy Lin, found 1 month of run. Maybe Wiggins can do that for 3-4 months, which is, basically most of an entire basketball season. What's if
is
Wiggins
he going to hop in a time machine and get younger? Listen.
Hey, Norm is getting better. He's 32.
The top 4 that we mentioned. Detroit. Is Miami going to be better than Detroit?
Possibly.
Could happen. Okay. Orlando. In what realm are they going to be better than Orlando?
Better city to live in Florida.
There it is. Better city. Got it.
Okay. What else you got?
Boston Celtics.
We're better than Boston. They don't have their best player, the best player in the NBA, Jason Tatum, the face of the NBA, right?
So would you trade Jaylen Brown for Tyler Hero right now?
Stop it. Tyler Hero is untradeable. Come on, we already know this.
Wait. So you're saying you wouldn't trade Tyler for Jaylen Brown?
Tyler is untradeable. You know what that means? Even if the Lakers offered us Luka for him straight up.
Oh my God.
No, of course I would trade Jaylen Brown.
Trade him tomorrow. Yeah, I'd trade him tomorrow for him.
Why tomorrow? Why wait? Why not right now?
Exactly.
Come on. Who do you think I am? Why would you even ask that question? Yes.
This is my whole point. They have no chance of being better than even really Boston. I don't see any scenario they get into the top 4. I don't see it.
On paper, but
on paper,
life and basketball seasons are nuanced.
Bam takes a leap and he becomes prime Kevin Garnett. There you go. That's what happens.
Yeah, and Davion becomes Drew Holiday, and Tyler becomes
Steph Curry. Is that what it? Is that it?
Nah, more Devin Booker.
Okay, Devin Booker. He becomes Devin Booker.
Yeah, we got Devin Booker. We got Kevin Garnett. We got Drew Holiday coming off the bench. Nico becomes the white Lamar Odom off our bench. Jaime becomes Jimmy Light, and then who else? What is Pella's comp? I said Dan Marley.
Dan Marley. Yeah. Dan Marley. I did a whole video that I think he's like Dan Marley. So yeah,
right,
Thunder
so
Dan,
we're on the same wavelength. Okay, I didn't watch that video. So what about
Shame
Kalel?
on you.
What can Kalel become then? What is he going to become then?
Sure, prime Wilt Chamberlain. There you go.
I think more of Kareem. He reminds me more of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Maybe Lou Alcindor before he became Kareem, but
Not even close to having that kind of efficient touch. The same thing like Wilt. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have the touch Wilt had. I mean, actually, Ware has great touch.
No, Wilt doesn't have that touch that Wilt wasn't shooting threes. Sheesh.
Dude, I don't think you No, I'm talking about around the basket. Wilt had amazing touch around the basket.
Of course. I'm just saying.
And if you go back and watch Wilt tape, he had a left block fadeaway where he'd do a step back into a fadeaway off the backboard. Thing was money.
It was. So anyway, Adele, I know we have a hard stop. You have to hop off soon.
Yes, sir.
So you think there's no realistic chance they get fourth?
I don't.
You don't see a real path.
No.
All right. So for next episode, guys, stay tuned because we're going to do a realistic episode, which is how the Miami Heat can get the 6th seed and avoid the play-in for the 4th time. Bear with us. I mentioned earlier in the video, it's the dog days of summer. It is August, 25th, 26th, whatever. We still have 5 weeks before training camp and media day opens, before we even see any basketball. That's 6 weeks away. That's the preseason, which no one cares about. So these are the dog days of summer. I still thought it'll be a fun episode. I'm trying to pump a little hopium, because I'm a little delusional, but I'm also realistic too. I don't think the Miami Heat are going to finish 4th, but I still think it's possible. What did Kevin Garnett say when they won a championship? Screw the Celtics, but anything's possible. I don't have the energy to do it right now, but anything's possible. The Heat could get the 4th seed theoretically. Again, everything I probably said when I was not being facetious at the beginning has to probably go right. Like, people have to take leaps like Tyler, Nico. Our defense has to improve. Our offense has to improve. Wiggins has to play great. Norm has to assimilate. Bam might have to not necessarily take a leap, but he cannot shoot in the sub 50% from the field if we want a shot at all. His 3-point shooting needs to increase. There's a lot that needs to happen. One of Jaime or Pella have to also pop. It's a lot of variables, but it's not impossible. It's very impractical though. So I don't believe the Miami Heat can finish 4th. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying it's very, very doubtful. I'm thinking more likely 7th, kind of like 6 through 10 is possible. I say anywhere from 6 through 10. Let's say 8 if we want to average it out, right? So
I'll leave you with a hypothetical for a pod topic you can do another day. What's more likely, the Heat get the 4th seed or Tyler Hero is traded by the trade deadline?
That's a good point. We'll see. That's another video right there. We got 2 videos for you guys this summer. So anyway, thanks for hopping on, man. Let the audience know again where they can find you online before we hop off.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on all social media platforms under Digital Adele. And my podcast, Digital Adele Hoops, is on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere podcasts are found. And I also am a contributor at 5 Reasons Sports Network for the Miami Heat as well. So I appreciate you, Amir. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on, man. Have a good one.
You're welcome. Take it easy.